Okay, this is my audience. So I'm doing my presentation on bacteria. I chose this because I'm in a biology class. It's my first year in it, or first biology class through college, and I really enjoy it. So I just want to talk about something that I'm learning. So I'm gonna be talking about bacteria. Bacteria is all around us. It's in our food. It's in what we eat. It is in our digestive tract. It's all around us. It's on our hands. It's basically just all around us. So what is bacteria? It's a prokaryote. There's two different types of cells. There's prokaryote and eukaryote. Eukaryote is all animal cells and plant cells, and they all have many organelles which help the cell to function. So they have a nucleus, and they have a mitochondria, which creates protein. It's the powerhouse of the cell. They have a lysosome that is basically the garbage disposal of a cell. But a prokaryote, which is what bacteria is, doesn't have as many of those organelles. It doesn't have a nucleus. Its DNA is free-floating. So generally in an animal or plant cell, the DNA is in the nucleus. It's enclosed in the nucleus. It is also single-celled, so it can multiply, and that's when infections happen, is when the cell can multiply. So there's a good and a bad bacteria. What's the difference between good and bad? So a good bacteria is beneficial bacteria, and those are the bacteria that fight off infections and sicknesses, and they're in our stomachs and they help us to digest. Bad bacteria are what cause infections, so that's where you get ear infections, sinus infections. You can get staph infections, which can be found anywhere in your bones, in your skin. You can have sores, just kind of infections like that. And how you cure those are through antibiotics. So antibiotics target and destroy bacteria within the body. Antibiotic means against life, so it'll kill everything, the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. This is good because it gets rid of the bad bacteria, but also it's really bad because it gets rid of the good bacteria. And the good bacteria is what fights off the bad. So when you get rid of the good bacteria, it's bad because it doesn't fight off incoming bacteria that comes in, new bacteria, and also doesn't fight off the rest of the bad bacteria that wasn't killed during antibiotics. And you can get this. It's called resistance, when your body doesn't fight back from bacteria, and you get it from taking antibiotics. And resistance is when it kills all of the good bacteria, and the bad bacteria becomes too strong to fight off the infection, and it doesn't respond to antibiotics anymore, and so it makes infections 10 times harder to cure. It just makes it a lot harder to get rid of infections that come into your body, and that's from antibiotics. According to the CDC, about 70% of people today are antibiotic resistant, and that is because antibiotics are overused, and they're prescribed sometimes if you don't even need them, and they're prescribed wrong, and so your body will get rid of all the good bacteria when it doesn't even need to, and so it just kind of can make you get worse and worse. Another statistic from the CDC says that 2.8 million people are affected, and 35,000 people die from resistance to antibiotics, and that's what happens when you start off with a small infection and it grows to become bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's harder and harder to fight off. So your body's just essentially just can't fight off the infection anymore. And so usually when this happens, you can't just use normal pill antibiotics. You have to use you have to use injections. You have to stay in the hospital for these because they can be so aggressive. You can also get an IV, which is injection. You get it usually through a needle right here, and those just they're stronger, much stronger antibiotics in your body. Other things that are antibiotics are creams. Obviously, I said pills, injections, and like you can get eye drops if you have an eye infection. And those are just a few of the different antibiotics that you can get. Another thing that can cause resistance but other cells that can have resistance are like cells that are on surfaces. So when you're cleaning your house and you're using antibiotic sprays and cleaners and Clorox, it's good to clean, but sometimes when you're over cleaning, killing too many good bacteria, it makes it really, really easy for bad bacteria to become stronger and stronger. And it can actually cause you to get sick. I know someone who had a surgery on their leg and they got a staph infection, so they went in and they cut it out and got the infection, and then a few months later, they cut it out again because the infection came back. And this happened, I want to say twice, it maybe even happened 3 times, where the person just couldn't get rid of their staph infection within their leg. And so they had a person from the CDC come and they talked to them and they said, get rid of your antibacterial sprays and cleaners and Clorox because you're killing too many good antibiotics that are bacteria that are around your house that help you to fight off the bad bacteria. And so, yeah, they just said, get rid of those. It'll definitely help with your legs so you don't keep getting infections in your open wound. So other ways that you can help so that you don't have the same thing happen are to get rid of antibacterial cleaners. So like I said, the Clorox is also hand sanitizer. While hand sanitizer is really good every now and then, to apply it too much can become worse for you. It's obviously you need to wash your hands, but buying soap like this is just a random brand, but it's not antibacterial, and so it doesn't kill the bad bacteria, but it cleans off, or it doesn't kill the good bacteria, but it cleans off the bad. And so you can just find this normal stuff at your regular stores. Also, a way that you can help your body is by eating natural antibiotics, which include honey, cloves, onions, and there's many other foods that you can eat that help your body. You can also eat yogurt. That's a probiotic, which helps for when you're taking antibiotics within your, like for an infection, a sinus infection, whatever you have. You can take a probiotic, and that helps so that your body doesn't get resistant to the antibiotics. So yeah, those are just a few ways you can help yourself to make sure that you don't become resistant to bacteria. And yeah, there's bacteria. Do you guys have any questions? No?
No.
All right, thank you.